Today, we're going to take a look at what I got from Bry's Comics Resellers Mystery Box. Stay tuned. Welcome back to My Third Life. Today might be a little bit of a longer video, so I'll probably have to break it up into two parts. I actually made this video once already, and, well, I tell you what, let me give you some background information and you understand what I'm talking about. So, a couple of weeks ago, I ordered a mystery resellers box from Bry's Comics. So, let's unpack that. Bryce Comics is somebody that I've done business with before. He's down in California. He has a YouTube channel, and he has a store online, and he does shows on Whatnot. And so occasionally he'll have these mystery boxes, and it'll be a set price. There'll be a certain minimal value, and you have a chance at like a grand prize. So he's done a couple of these. I've bought a couple from him before. And this time he was doing what he called a resellers box. So this was right at the time I decided I was going to start a YouTube channel, and had plans on starting to sell on Whatnot, which I'm still working on. I've applied for it. They haven't approved it yet. So we'll see, and I'm exploring other options to be able to sell comics. So I figured this is perfect. It was $200 plus tax. So that came out to about $225-ish. And he covered the shipping. So this is, not a small box of comics. This is what is called a short box, which, depending on how big the comics are, meaning how thick the comics are, and how many are in the box, how tight it's packed, you can get upwards of close to 150 comics in a short box. So it's not light. And so I ordered this box, and there's a certain amount available, a limited number available. I think it was 30. And so once all 30 are sold, or by a certain date, he goes ahead and ships them. So one other thing that he does, I mentioned a grand prize. Usually when there's a mystery box, there'll be one of the boxes chosen at random and get a prize that's worth, a considerable amount of money. I mean, more than what you paid for the mystery box. So part of what the mystery box appeal is that it's also basically an entry, for a giveaway, besides the value of what you're getting. So I got the email that it was shipped with UPS, and I was tracking it online, and it had gotten here to the local distribution center, and I figured, okay, it'll be here the next day. And then all of a sudden it was returned to sender, and I was like, what? I didn't return it to sender. What's going on? And so I called them up. You know how it is trying to get a hold of somebody, in customer service. I had to go through the automated system. It was ridiculous. But I finally got a hold of somebody, and of course they didn't know what was going on. They assumed it had been damaged and was being returned. So I sent an email to Bryce Comics, and I got a reply right away from Cade. I guess he's the store manager, where Bry has his storefront and his inventory and everything. He's not actually like a retail front. I mean, it's not a comic book store, but it's, I think, where he does all of his inventory and shipping from and Whatnot shows from, and so on and so forth down in California. And so, they got back to me really quick, and apologized, and was saying that they'll look out for it. And I told them that I would still like to have the books if they're not damaged, but if they are, obviously, I would expect a refund. And so as soon as they got the box, they contacted me. Cade and Bry went through the books and said they were all good and they're going to ship them back out to me. And then he said something that I wasn't sure how to take. He said he was excited for me to get the books back. Excited for me to get the books. And so, of course, I thought, well, I must have won. I must have won one of the giveaways. And so, obviously I'm glued to the computer checking on the progress, you know, hitting the refresh button. Where's my package? The shipping was pretty quick. I mean, I can't remember exactly, but I got it in a couple of days. From California to Washington is not too bad. And of course, I let them know that I got the box, but I didn't open it right away because I knew I was going to make this video. And I opened the box on video. And it ended up being a really long video, like 45 minutes. And I knew, I was going to have to do a lot of editing. But while I was doing that video and when I opened the box, I was really confused by what I was seeing, the books that I was seeing, because I was expecting that I won a giveaway, but what I was seeing in the box wasn't what I was expecting. So I did not win a giveaway. But instead, I got a bunch of books that I wasn't expecting to get. And so the next time I was on Bry's Whatnot feed, while he was doing a live show, I said, "Hey, thanks for the reseller box. It's great. I really like it." And so, man, here's what he said. He's like, "Oh, yeah, about that. Here's what happened." I was like, "Oh no, what's going on?" And so he says he takes the camera over to the table and then has a short box, and he said, this box contains books for the Whatnot show. And somehow this box of comic books got distributed among the reseller box that he sold as part of this mystery reseller's box. And I guess it was about $1,600 worth of books that got distributed throughout all these other boxes. I mean, I didn't get all of them, obviously, and then I was like, oh, that's why I got some of the books I got. Okay, so after all that, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start over and kind of explain what's going on and what happened, and I'll just do this video all over again. And I don't know yet if I'm going to show every single book. Well, I'm not going to show every single book. You'll see why in a second. But I am going to show, obviously, the ones that confused me and that I'm talking about. And then I'll show some of the others. So there'll probably be a part two, I'm sure. It's already a long video. So let's get into it. I opened the box, and the first comic I pulled out, I was so confused. I thought, is this the price? Because it was in such a nice bag and an extra thick backer board, like a double thick backer board. And I think maybe it's a Mylar bag. I'm not sure, but it's a really nice bag and board. And so what I got was this Miles Morales Spider-Man #1. But it's the, Bryce Comics limited edition, limited to 2,500 copies. And it comes with a certificate of authenticity. And when I first saw that, I thought, well, is that the price? But then I kept looking, and there was more and more and more. And there was like 10 of them in there. And I'm like, this is weird. Obviously now, knowing what I know, it makes more sense. So, these don't really show up on cover price that I use to get the value of books. And I don't know how accurate cover price is, but I believe, track sales, recent sales, and come up with a fair market value based on recent sales. And so Bry's Whatnot stream, he has a Buy It Now section. And these are listed in there for $15 a piece. And I got 10 of them. So you can see right away, I mean, that's $150 value right off the bat. And this cost me with tax $223.92. And, whatever it cost him for shipping. I will pause a moment to say, I'd really admire the honesty of Bry and Cade. And, they got this box back. I didn't know what was in it. They could have switched all of these out and then sent it back to me, and I would have never known the difference. So, definitely big shout out to Bry and their honesty. And not to mention that even before that, I was impressed with the customer service, with the emails that I was getting, and the updates that I was getting, and just really responsive. So, they really did right by this whole process. I feel a little bad for Bry, for whoever made the mistake or whatever, but it is what it is. So now I got to figure out how I'm going to sell these, if I'm going to send some to CGC to be slabbed, or, but that's another video. So, like I said, I have 10 of those. And then next we have another Bryce Comics exclusive, which is Something Is Killing the Children, number 21. And this is a cover by an artist called named Zoo or Zoo. And this one's actually limited to 1,000 copies, and these are numbered. Like, this is number 578 of 1,000. And I ended up getting 3 of these. And these are valued, at least according to cover price, at like $22 a piece. So that's another, $66. So $150 for the Miles Morales Spider-Man, and another $66 for the Something Is Killing the Children. We're already up to $216 on 13 books. So you can see why I was so confused the first time I went through this box. I'm like, what? Even though I didn't know their exact value, I was like, this is not what I was expecting. It's way better. So, and it gets even better. And then we have a book that's called Stuff of Nightmares, number 1. And now this one is also a Bryce Comic exclusive with the certificate of authenticity, and this one is limited to 400 copies. And so, what's this one worth? And there's no, price listed on cover price. I guess there hasn't been any sales or enough sales for them to have an average price. But these sell on Bry's website for $20 a piece. And these are on his website for, I think, $25 a piece. So, again, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3 of these. Stuff of Nightmares. So that's another $60. So, what are we up to there? Like 270 bucks or something. It's just in these 16 comics. So, that's the big ones. That's the ones that I was confused about, and that's the ones I wanted to show you first. And, so the total count, I put all these into my inventory software, CLZ, and the total count was 133 comics. So you take the total price that I paid divided by 133 comics, and that comes out to like $1.68 per comic. That's counting tax, and like I said before, he covered the shipping. So that's a pretty good return on investment already. So I'm going to show a few more. This video is going long already, and then I'll show the rest in a part 2. So we've also got Berserker. And so Berserker is a more recent comic, and one I just actually found out about a couple of months ago. I guess last month maybe. But it's actually a comic book by Keanu Reeves. And you'll see here, I guess, I don't know. You tell me, is this supposed to be him on the cover? But so this is number one, Berserker number one. And of course, with all new comics these days, there's multiple variants, especially of like a key issue, like the first issue. So you've got this cover, and I don't remember exactly which one is which, but you've got this cover, and I got one of those, and this cover, which is also still number one, and I've got 1, 2, 3 of those, and we've got one more from number one and another cover. And I've got 2 of those. And so, I mean, these are worth anywhere from, say, $7 or $8 a piece to $12 a piece. So, I mean, we're talking another, what, $50 in Berserker. So, I think that's all I'll do for this episode, and then we'll do the other 100 or so in part 2 and try and run through it real quick, and then do a whole bunch of editing. So let me know what you think about what you would do if you got this deal. Got all these comic books, I kind of by mistake, but yet, Bry was still honest enough to honor the deal, and then how you would feel about that, and how you would go about selling these books. If what you have experience as a seller of eBay. I don't have my own store, web store, obviously. eBay charges pretty healthy commission. I don't really have Instagram. Maybe that's something I need to look at. I could go local, could do OfferUp or Craigslist or something. So, if you have any advice as far as selling these books, let me know in the comments down below. And, if you like this content and want to see more, give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see part 2, well, go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell notification, and you'll get notified when part 2 comes out. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again.